Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm really glad that you're here with me today. So this is day 7 of my attachment style series, which I'm running until the end of this year. And I thought, being like that we've covered a week, I was thinking that maybe we could do a bit of a reflection today. So if you're reading this on Facebook rather than watching the video, then the same still applies. But if you're watching the video, then feel free to message or follow or DM me, whatever, um, your thoughts. I would really welcome them. So, tonight, what I want to dive into is one of my favorite and honestly one of the most revealing parts of attachment work, and that is our first memories of love, basically. Now, I know the word love can bring up a lot. For some of us, will be picturing cuddles and bedtime stories. Others picture total chaos and confusion. And both are valid. Both are valid. It doesn't matter. Because how love was shown to us early on is the foundation, that blueprint, if you will, for how we experience connection now as adults. Um, so I want you to think back. What were the earliest messages you got about love? Was it steady? Was it conditional? Was it a bit unpredictable? And we're going to hopefully unpack that together tonight during this video, or at least start the reflection on the basis of it. So most people think attachment theory, by the way, is just about adult relationships. The texting, the dating, the arguments, the avoidant who disappears for 3 days. But it actually starts way earlier than that. So our nervous systems were being wired for love long before we ever went on our first date, long before we ever had an interest in people romantically like that. When we were little, our caregivers taught us, through their consistency or lack of it, how safe it was to express our needs and our feelings and our emotions. So, what I mean by that is, if love felt warm and predictable, we learned that people can be trusted. If love was inconsistent, we learned that we had to cling or perform to keep it. And if love was cold or rejecting, we learned to shut down our feelings to stay safe. Avoidance, I'm looking at you. So, so those early experiences become the map we now follow in relationships, and these are any relationships. It's not, I mean, I talk almost exclusively about romantic ones because that's my area of interest, but this is every type of relationship that you could ever have, whether it's friendship, whether it's work relationships, whatever it is, even the relationships we have with total strangers. These early experiences became the roadmap we now follow in all relationships, often without even realizing it. Often without even realizing it. And the funny thing is, we all think that we're acting like grown-ups, but really it's our 3 to 5 year old selves behind the wheel half the time. So they have the control. They are the driving force behind how we view things, how we react to things, how we feel about things a lot of the time, and the stories that we tell ourselves. It's not us as adults. We're not being grown-ups most of the time. We are being our 5 year old selves. Um, and I've spoken to so many people about this, and the memories they share are often so telling. It's one of the first questions I ask people when they come to me for advice, and the answers are normally so telling. So an example would be, one woman told me that every time she cried as a child, her mum would say things like, "Stop it," or "I'll give you something to cry about." How many of us, especially in my age range, had been told that as a child? Stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. I know I certainly was. So she learned that expressing emotion wasn't safe. She grew into an adult who keeps everything bottled up, terrified of being too much in her relationships. And for her, it was quite extreme. It was across the board, all relationships of any type. Another client remembered his dad always working. always busy. And when his dad was there and he did have time, um, this particular bloke would cling to him like his life depended on it. And that's that anxious wiring right there. You know, I have to hold on tight or love will simply disappear. It will go away. It will abandon me. And I remember someone else, and she said that in her love, in it, that love in her house was very conditional, very, very conditional, almost to an extreme. If she behaved, got top marks, looked after her siblings, she got affection. If not, she got silence and rejection. So she grew into an overachiever. And we always think this is a wonderful thing to be an overachiever. But actually, underneath it, it always strikes me as something that if you have to overachieve in everything in your life, it's like you're always trying to earn love and approval rather than just accepting that you can receive it. So she grew into an overachiever, always trying to earn love rather than just receiving it. Does this sound familiar to anyone? Because I see so many of us when I'm talking on Zoom or on FaceTime or when I'm talking in person, um, so many of us nodding along when I tell these stories because it probably sounds quite similar to some of the things that you may have experienced as a child. Now, for me personally, and I'll be honest here, I grew up feeling like love was something I had to work really hard for. It wasn't really much of a secret that I was a disappointment. I was the oldest, and I came out without the required parts to be a boy. I was the oldest, and I always felt like I had to make up for the fact that I wasn't what was wanted. Or I didn't feel like I felt like I was a disappointment. Yes, I definitely felt like I was a disappointment. So I was always trying to prove that I was worthy of the love that I should have just received freely. So I was the oldest, as I've mentioned, the responsible one, the fixer, the caregiver. I thought if I could just do enough and be enough and keep everyone happy, then maybe I'd feel safe. Maybe I would feel like I was loved and lovable. And it's taken me a very long time to unlearn that, over 40 years, in fact, before I did. So these days, my first memory of love that I like to hold on to isn't even from childhood. It's from adulthood. And that's probably a story that quite a few of you watching this will have as well. You can't think of something in childhood, so you have to look at where you felt it first, your earliest memory in adulthood. And for me, it's when I finally learned to give myself the consistency and the care I'd always wanted from others. I'd always looked for from others. So I never really felt that I received it from them. And so I had to finally learn to give it to myself. And that's what healing looks like. Becoming the safe person you always needed. And honestly, I can't even lie. It's a lot less exhausting. It's a lot less exhausting than chasing everyone else for approval. Like, it's so much less exhausting and such a healthier place to be, I think, anyway. So I want to turn this back to you now. And I would like you to do a little exercise with me right now, if you're able to. Don't worry if you're not. You can come back to it later or do it in bed later on or whatever. And what I want you to do is take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it at the top, and then out through your mouth. Close your eyes for a second if you like. I'm not going to because I have aphantasia and I don't see images in my head as a result. So there's no point me closing my eyes. But close your eyes for a second if you like and ask yourself these questions. When you cried or were upset as a child, how did the people around you respond to that, to you? So when you cried or were upset as a child, how did the people around you respond? Did you feel seen and heard and soothed? Or did you learn to hide your feelings? And be honest with yourself, because honesty is the key to starting the healing process. Did love feel unconditional? Or was it tied to performance or achievement or, being good? So whatever comes up for you, just notice it. You don't have to judge it. This isn't about blaming anyone. It's about understanding the blueprint. Because once you see it clearly, you can begin to rewrite it. We can't fix what we don't know is broken, what we don't understand is broken about us. And trust me, it's never too late. I've helped people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and even 80s start forming secure attachments for the first time in their lives. The nervous system doesn't care how old you are, it just wants safety. So, I'd love for you to share in the comments if you feel comfortable, and I don't push anybody to do anything, but I'd love you to share in the comments if you feel comfortable, or private message me if you prefer, what your first memory of love or comfort is. I would be really interested to know that. And it could be something small, like a warm meal waiting for you after school, or something symbolic like the smell of your mum's perfume, or the sound of your dad's car coming home from work. Or maybe a bit like me, you realize you don't really have a memory like that. And that's okay too. That awareness alone is powerful. It's so powerful. Because the moment you understand why love feels the way it does for you, that's when you can start changing it. So that's it. That's it. Thank you for spending this time with me tonight. If this resonated with you or if you enjoyed it, please feel free to follow or share your reflections with me or tag a friend who might want to explore this with you as well. And remember, your past shaped your attachment, but it doesn't have to define your future. You can always become the safe place you needed as a child. And over these next few weeks, I'm going to help you to hopefully achieve that. Take care all. Have a great evening. Bye.